Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be back on. Sorry, I'm sitting here in my little C table, the ones that go under their chairs. And just to try to share a couple of things. I'm going with the contact lenses and wearing the readers. So I was in the scriptures and saw Psalm 37, verses 8 through 9. Do not fret. Those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. Now, I skipped over something that's in between that. And between those dots, it says, it leads only to evil, for evil men will be cut off. But, and then it goes on, those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land, which is what I just read. And then at the end of the passage, it says, refrain from anger and turn from wrath. As I was reading this, the fret and the hope came together. That's why I was like looking at it going, do not fret. And then I was skipping down, those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. And I recognized that worrying had kind of gotten into this category of stealing hope. And it wasn't just like if my mind is occupied with fear and worry that I can't have hope. It was almost as if it cut off the flow of the blessings, because it says those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. So it's the channel from which blessings come is opened by hoping in the Lord. But if you're filled with fear and fret, you ultimately become bitter, hostile. Here's an example that happens with me. So I'm in a hurry. This was especially true when my children were small, and trying to get two other people dressed and ready to walk out the door. And anybody who has young children identifies well with this. I have a special needs daughter, so I still have to do that with her. Even at 24, not as much as I did. I mean, I don't do as many things, but I still do a lot of it. And the energy that it's taking from me just to do that causes me to be somewhat over-energized. Well, then when you take that and you add to it worry or fret, as it says in that particular translation, so I'm heightened in my angst, if you will. And so then what happens to me, instead of trusting the Lord, okay, maybe yes, some people would say, well, you need to start earlier. You don't always get that luxury. Somebody poops the diaper, somebody spills spaghetti on their shirt, whatever, and then all of a sudden you don't have the time you would set aside. So what are you doing then? You're anxious, you're fretting, you're overwhelmed, you're feeling heavy, you're feeling crazy. And the first thing I want to do is treat everybody like they're in my way. So I start yelling and screaming, hurry up, don't touch that, get in there, and it just goes nuts. And I realized that that's exactly what happens. It's this passage. If you just read it through, it kind of chops up and you're just going, what is it talking about? Like it just keeps changing subjects. Like you feel like that in Proverbs, of course. But this is in a psalm and it's like, why is this like this? But if you read it in coherence, do not fret. It leads only to evil, for evil men will be cut off. Okay? So he's saying, if it leads to evil and you become evil, you're going to get yourself cut off. So when you're worrying, you put yourself in the category of evil. Okay? Do not fret. It leads only to evil, for evil men will be cut off. But those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. All right. So perfect love casts out all fear. So when we are operating in love, we are operating with a conduit pouring down on us, a connection to the one who is the source of love. This gives us hope. This gives us peace. This gives us a sound mind. We don't go crazy, right? Okay, I'm late. I'm like, okay, everybody's going to hate my guts because I'm bringing in my children. I'm distracting the service, or I'm distracting the event, or I'm late for the doctor and they're going to charge me a fee, whatever. You know what? So often, this happens to us, trillions of us in traffic, right? But so often when I arrived wherever it was that I was going, while angst and overwhelmed and freaking out, I get there and I find that everybody's still just chilled so many times. When it's things I can't help. Now, when I'm being la-di-da and I don't care, yes, I'm late and I'm rude. But when it really is that I did everything that I felt like I had to do or should do and tried to do, and I get there late anyway, it's like all of a sudden there's this grace, there's this goodness, there's this provision. So don't let yourself get caught in the trap of treating those around you like they're they're the problem. Hope in the Lord. Hope in the Lord. Trust Him and love people and do good. Micah, I think it's 6:8. Excuse me if I got the wrong one, but it says to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. If you walk humbly, you can't help but really be merciful. And if you walk humbly, you recognize that justice is coming to you as well as the other people, not just everybody else is wrong and I'm right. Justice is coming to both of you. So when you do walk humbly with your God, because He's the one that's going to season that and flavor that so that it's balanced humility. It isn't shame, it isn't guilt, it isn't condemnation, it's not self-deprecation, it's humility. And then when you do those other two, because you're in humility, you're going to find your life gives you hope. And your life gives you the goodness of God because you are walking with Him. Be blessed. I love everybody. I want you to be. You see, I fell. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I fell on my knee and I busted my knee and I busted, yes,